Hello, everyone. What a long day. Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday. We'll get a little break. Um, okay. I wanted to talk. Last night I went on and on about a half an hour. I'm going to make tonight's a little less painful, a little less long. I want to talk about arpeggios. Now, arpeggios, what are they? That's an arpeggio. It's a broken chord. Let's look at the very essential building block of the arpeggio. That is a three-note triad. That is a chord. This is a broken chord. Terrible fingering, by the way. I just want to show you the notes. Um, an arpeggio. An arpeggio is when you break a chord into its various notes. Even that's an arpeggio. But generally what we mean by an arpeggio is a chord that goes, a broken chord that keeps going. C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G, that type of thing. All right. So what's the general idea of the fingering? Well, it still follows the principles that scales do about thumbs and these guys and pinkies not used unless they're at the end or the beginning and they're convenient. So in that regard, they're the same. Now, the only thing is a scale, the hand will look more like this. With an arpeggio, the hand will look more like that, okay? where we're not playing all the notes, we're only playing certain ones. So, and it follows the same thing. 1, 2, 3 would work here. Why do we spread them out? Why don't we do this? That kind of thing. Because by using the 1, 2, 3, it starts the wrist moving, because as we want to stay behind those fingers, and that will carry us over to the next note. If we do 1, 3, 5, there'll be a little wrist, but it won't be it makes it harder to get the hand moving, the wrist moving in that direction in this case. Now, I've identified what I think are probably the first two arpeggios people should try to work on. They're easy to remember. The fingerings are easy to remember. One is the B major arpeggio. Now in the right hand, we'll talk about the left hand. In the right hand, we put a 1 on a B, a 2 on a D sharp, and a 3 on the F sharp. And as we go up, and you can practice it by going up and down that arpeggio, like this. Keep that wrist very, very pliable, loose, because as that wrist is moving up, when we want to go, now you see this structure? We're going to move to this structure, but it's not going to be done all at once. It's going to look like that. Now, some people say, oh, you cross under. Well, no, if I cross under, my elbow starts to go up and all that stuff. It's a rotation where the wrist actually carries you to that B. And it can take a little time to get comfortable with that. Okay? Then the hand, you don't want to get it too much like this, because then these two fingers, which have got to go here, are going to have a harder time of it. So, a really good way to practice this arpeggio, and we're going to talk about this for a while, is to measure it out in time. Don't do this, though, where you move your whole hand. That's not what's going to happen. This guy is going to be, what do they say in football? The backfield is in motion. Well, there's your backfield, and it's going to be in motion. So if you watch me play this, you see that wrist is on his way up. Look at it again. It's very hard to see it. When we come back down, the wrist is going to be on his way. The third finger will look like he's going over, but you can't go over too much, because once you get here, these two fingers have to be on their way into these two. So, it's a bigger motion than a scale. We had that same business in a scale where we said you're not really crossing under, The other fingers have to get there. This is just a wider gap. Now, clearly, in this case, you've got 3 beats here and 3 beats here. And those accents are relatively easy to do. The thumb is the accent on the way up, and the 3 is the accent on the way down. Then 3. Get the idea? So that's pretty simple, and it's a good arpeggio to start on. The reason I don't start kids on C, it's harder to find the notes. They're all white. Everybody's back here dangling on the keys. This one's really comfortable for for the hand, because the 2 and 3 are here. All your strong fingers. Now, right. There's no 4s or 5s being used in that guy, which is there will be. You can see that if I have to do that, the 5 will be on that B. And if that's where I have to stop, you can see it's very convenient. Now, if we do this again, though, and I accent every 2, that gets a little tougher, because now you've got that loud soft there. That's tougher, a lot harder. I wouldn't do that at first. If you have not played arpeggios, nice and slow, do it in 3, accent the thumb. The pedal can be depressed, makes it sound rather nice. It's all one nice sound. But don't stick to anything. There's a piece by Melody Bober called Medieval Kingdom, and in one part she came down like this, but she used both hands, and I was like, and she did this thing with both hands. I said, it's the easiest arpeggio, perfect place for the student to learn that very simple arpeggio for one hand. Okay, so I would work on that if you have never done arpeggios. Start on the B chord. 1, 2, 3. Now the left hand, same thing. Same thing. I can get down to that B, so let's start on this B. 1, 2, 3. A little bit bigger stretch here. Real little kids are going to have trouble with this. I don't bother. They're still working on scales, which is fine. But here, 1, 2, 3. And that same structure, the mirror structure, is going to be here. B, F sharp, D sharp, B, F sharp, D sharp. And you can do the same kind of rhythmic thing. You can see my wrist starts the second I start. Then it starts this way. So you can see it. It's like buttered something down here, okay? Backfield in motion. Start on my way up. It's a funny thing about the wrist. It's actually what plays the piano. I've said that to you a number of times. But here you can kind of really see it at work. For those that are eager, I guess is the word I would use, you could do them together this way. See where the hands are? The thumbs are on the B. And I'm going up from the bottom notes on both hands. And you could then move the hands up to the next one. The thumbs are always on the B here. And these two guys are on the most comfortable black keys. You wouldn't accidentally play that. You wouldn't accidentally play that. These two. I think that that's pretty safe. That's why I like it. Later we're going to be doing stuff where all white keys and all black keys. Those are fun. Okay, those are fun. When you're all back here, it's like playing white keys because you're all in the same place. But anyway, so I would recommend that. It's the one you're playing. This one. And this one. And if you do the two of them together going up and down, they don't sound very finished. I understand that. That would sound more finished with the whole B chord. Okay, so that's kind of the thing with arpeggios. It's scalish, just a much looser wrist and a much bigger swipe of the wrist. There was one exercise in one of the books I used to have that went. The problem with that exercise is it kind of gets you into this rotation going under because you don't have to keep going. And I don't think, as good as it seems, I don't really think it's effective. I would rather you play straight up the whole way and come back down than to do this. Nobody would do that. You would never do that in a piece. You wouldn't go. You wouldn't do it. You'd go and you'd use your pinky. So it's kind of forced. The white key arpeggios, you can see, you don't have as much leeway with being back further. When you move the hand, somehow being up on the black keys just seems to give you more leeway underneath it. When you're white key, you don't have as much. That doesn't mean they're not playable. The first one I played for you was the Schumann A minor concerto, the very end of the first movement. Okay, that's the arpeggio he does. It starts with 5, but then you never use, and occasionally you use the 5 going up because it happens to be there. He does it's a cute design. Something's not right about that. It's not right. There's another. Yeah, I'm close. Not quite though. So, yeah, arpeggios. Try that one out. It will help you. It will get you ready for all the rest. Unless you do them. If you do them, hey, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So last night I went long. Tonight I don't think I'm going short, but I think I'm pretty close. Yeah. Alexa doesn't know that, so that's good. That means that she should be watching this broadcast. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow night and Sunday night. And remember, when words fail, music speaks.